The Karate Kid has taken many forms over the years, from the original 1984 film to the 2010 remake, and now the latest edition, Karate Kid Legends. Across these versions, one thread remains constant: the quiet transformation of a young student through discipline, patience, and unexpected mentorship. While the story is best known for its iconic training scenes and cinematic victories, there's a deeper current that runs through it. Not a lesson taught through words, but a kind of wisdom passed down through rhythm, repetition, and patience. On the surface, the Karate Kid offers us a familiar narrative. A young outsider overcomes adversity through martial arts and mentorship, culminating in a dramatic final showdown. Yet beneath its crowd-pleasing momentum lies something older, something nearly invisible. The story doesn't merely unfold through plot, but through rhythm. Beneath the surface of its characters and conflicts is a gentle but persistent current that flows through the entire film, and that current, in Taoist philosophy, is known as Wu Wei. In simple terms, Wu Wei is the art of letting the energy of life flow through you. It's not about doing nothing, but about allowing action to arise effortlessly, without resistance, like breath moving through the body or water finding its way downhill. In Taoist thought, this harmony flows from the Tao, the natural unfolding path of all things. Wu Wei is how we move when we stop obstructing that flow. And in the world of the Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi is the living embodiment of Wu Wei. He's steady without being rigid, responsive without overreacting. He doesn't control the world around him, he moves with it. He teaches without explaining, acts without hesitation, and trusts timing more than technique. Through him, we don't just hear about Wu Wei, we watch it in motion. It's not mystical, it's human, and Wu Wei lives in the way Mr. Miyagi walks, speaks, and listens. Daniel arrives with a familiar modern mindset. He's goal-oriented and results-driven. He wants to learn the moves, to win the fights, and to be done with it all as quickly as possible. When Mr. Miyagi assigns him seemingly irrelevant chores, waxing cars, sanding floors, and painting fences, Daniel grows frustrated. He sees no connection between these repetitive tasks and the martial arts skills that he seeks. Yet Mr. Miyagi doesn't justify or explain. He simply asks Daniel to keep going. Wax on, wax off. Paint up, paint down. There are no shortcuts, only rhythm. The transformation begins not with understanding, but with surrender. In the early stages, Daniel resists. He performs the motions, but with resentment. He feels as though he's being used, but something quiet is taking root. The repetition is shaping him. His body is learning how to move. His nervous system is being conditioned. And when he finally snaps and demands answers, Mr. Miyagi suddenly tests Daniel, revealing that every motion has become instinctual defense. The knowledge has settled not in his intellect, but in his body. This is the essence of Wu Wei. It's not about forcing a result, but about allowing form to become embodied through rhythm and presence. The Tao Te Ching, the central text of Taoist wisdom, describes this state with the words, "The way does nothing, yet nothing is left undone." This points to a kind of action that arises not from strain, but from alignment. Like a stream finding its path downhill, this kind of movement is fluid, adaptive, and without hesitation. The British philosopher Alan Watts once described Wu Wei as the art of sailing rather than the art of rowing. Rowing, he observed, is about effort and control. Sailing, by contrast, requires sensitivity to wind and water. One does not make the boat go forward by brute force, but by working with the natural elements. In this metaphor, control is not abandoned, but transformed into attunement with one's environment. Daniel's training reflects this shift. Over time, he stops trying to force his progress. He gives himself to the rhythm, and in doing so, he begins to move differently. Modern psychology has a term for this state: flow. It's a condition in which action feels effortless and immersive. The sense of self begins to dissolve. Time becomes elastic. One is not acting out of self-consciousness or fear, but out of a deep sense of being present. Athletes call it the zone. It's a state many have tasted, but few know how to re-enter intentionally. Wu Wei, at its core, describes this same phenomenon. This experience is not exclusive to Taoism. In fact, it's a universal feature of human consciousness. We've all felt it in different moments, when the body takes over without thinking, when instinct aligns with form, and when the breath synchronizes with movement. These are the moments that live beyond strategy and beyond control. What the Karate Kid reveals is not a mystical secret. It's something we already know. Wu Wei is not a technique. It's a rhythm we return to when we stop grasping for results. What's most striking about Mr. Miyagi's teaching is how little he explains. There's no theory, no terminology, no hierarchy of knowledge. He trains Daniel's nervous system, not his intellect. He teaches by rhythm and timing, not by commands. Mr. Miyagi asks Daniel to repeat, to feel, to become familiar with motion. This is another key truth of Wu Wei. It's not intellectual, it's physical. You don't find it by thinking. You find it when thought no longer interferes with action. When the self-conscious layer begins to dissolve, and when it does, clarity appears. Not the clarity of knowing what will happen, but the clarity of knowing how to respond to what already is. You stop trying to shape the moment and you begin to move with it instead. Mr. Miyagi himself is a reflection of this. In many ways, he's the living embodiment of Wu Wei. He doesn't impose, persuade, or boast. He teaches without speaking. He guides without grasping. He lets the form speak for itself. His authority comes not from position, but from alignment. He's not a master of control, rather, he's a student of rhythm. By the time Daniel reaches the final tournament, something has changed. He's no longer trying to win in order to prove something, he's simply responding. The motions he once found tedious, waxing, painting, and sanding, have become part of his body's intelligence. When he performs the iconic crane kick, it doesn't arise from strategy, it arises from trust. The move is not a clever invention, rather it's an expression of everything he's allowed himself to become. One might ask, what if Daniel had lost? Would it have meant the journey was pointless? Would the training lose its value? The answer is no, because Wu Wei is not about outcomes, it's about alignment. When action emerges from integrity and presence, even failure leaves no residue. There's nothing to regret, no tension to carry, one simply returns to the next moment again and again. And this is the deeper gift of Wu Wei. It's not simply ease, it's freedom. It doesn't remove responsibility, it removes interference. It doesn't promise success, it promises clarity. And clarity, when felt fully, is already its own reward. This is what the Karate Kid offers us, quietly and without explanation. The Karate Kid reminds us that some of life's deepest moments are not learned through effort, but revealed through rhythm. That clarity does not arrive when we try harder, but when we interfere less. And at the center of it all is the quiet presence of Mr. Miyagi, who doesn't just teach Wu Wei, but lives it truthfully. And through him, we glimpse a way of moving through life that's calm, clear, and deeply attuned. His role isn't to explain, but to reveal. And what remains, long after the story ends, is a sense of how it feels for us to move with life instead of against life. Wu Wei stays with us, not as theory, but as rhythm. Not as technique, but as trust in the universe itself. And when we learn to trust ourselves, many new things become possible. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe to see more content like this. There's also a Patreon for anyone who'd like to support the channel. This video and others like it couldn't be made without the kindness and support of people like you. Thanks for watching.